Good morning, I'm Brandon Peoples. The USD 383 school board last night voted to ask board member Katie Allen to resign after she replied well-deserved to a social media post about the death of conservative commentator Charlie Kirk. Allen told the board last night that she would not resign, but agreed to step down as board vice president. The board passed a resolution requesting her resignation 5-1. Jamie Morris Hardiman cast the lone no vote. The board unanimously selected Greg Hoyt as the new vice president. Hoyt, before that, spoke about his colleague.
Recent events, including a 2-word comment posted on social media by one of our colleagues, has caused significant concern and distraction from our mission. While I recognize that mistakes can happen, I also believe accountability is essential to preserving public confidence, and with respect for both the individual and this institution, I respectfully call for my colleague's voluntary resignation from the board.
Board members reminded the public the board cannot remove an elected member. A recall would require a petition signed by 40% of registered voters and a recall election. About 36 people spoke during public comment last night. Applause broke out when the board asked Allen to step down. The dispute has drawn intense local and some national attention. Gavin Caldwell of K-State Turning Point USA, which is an organization Kirk started, showed the board a poster he had made and told Allen, "People like you want us dead."
I will stand here each and every meeting until you're gone. But most importantly, and something you will likely not hear from anyone tonight, back to number 1 on this poster. I am praying for you, Katie, but only because you need Jesus in this time of your life to keep you sane from the army that is coming your way.
A rezoning request to change designation of 2 properties east of City Park, previously denied by the Manhattan Urban Area Planning Board, will come back to the board for further clarification after a unanimous decision by city commissioners Tuesday. Rezoning of the 2 lots would allow for potential new duplexes or townhomes to be constructed on the site of 2 older homes, something many neighbors are opposed to. Mayor Karen McCullough initially urged fellow commissioners Tuesday to support the planning board's decision to deny.
I live in an older neighborhood. I think it's very hard for people who don't live in an older neighborhood to realize how you constantly have to make sure that zoning will support you, that you're safe from a duplex being next door, that you worry about extra parking.
Commissioner Peter Opelt says the planning board wasn't clear, though, on why it chose to deny the rezoning request.
In the minutes, they don't outline the criteria that they're using, aside from the one, and that's aside from the consistency with the comp plan. I would at least like to have some more specifics on that, I think.
When considering these types of requests, the boards must evaluate 7 different criteria related to property use and neighborhood characteristics. Federal and state engineers have begun an innovative dredging project at Tuttle Creek Reservoir, which aims to address decades of sediment buildup. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and Kansas Water Office on Wednesday began a 10-day demonstration of water injection dredging, a technology never before tested in a reservoir. It's the first of 3 phases to gauge whether the method can remove sediment and extend Tuttle Creek Lake's lifespan. Project manager Laura Totten noted sediment buildup has long been expected to threaten water storage at the lake, which was built in the 1950s primarily for flood control.
We are about half full of sediment right now from the original constructed storage that we had there in the multi-purpose pool. So it is expected, but again, now we're at a different time frame. And, we have a lot of demand for that water, so we need to try to find a solution to try to sustain it for long term.
The dredging process involves a large barge equipped with a pipe that injects water into the sediment at the bottom of the lake, lifting it into suspension, creating what Totten refers to as a density current.
The hope is that the sediment will then flow out of those lower gates into the river downstream. It's primarily fine materials, silt. We believe it will stay in suspension and keep flowing down the river, out of the Blue River into the Kansas, into the Missouri, into the Mississippi, to the Gulf. But we are monitoring that downstream to see exactly what happens to the fate of that sediment.
That demonstration will continue through September 26th, with additional phases planned for spring and summer 2026. And a longtime Kansas lawmaker says she's planning to not quit just yet. State Representative Cindy Carlin is planning to seek re-election in 2026. She's served 22 years in the Kansas House representing District 66. She says she's already working on fundraising and preparing for her next campaign.
I get notes in the mail thanking me for my service, and I get people everywhere saying, please keep working for us. And I'm not exaggerating on that. I mean, anyone can say that, but it happens to me. And I feel I would be letting people down if I did not continue.
Carlin was reelected unopposed for the third time in 2024. I'm Brandon Peoples, News Radio, KMAN.
Good morning, I'm Mitch Fortner with sports. Big 12 soccer gets officially underway tonight as K-State will be visiting the Colorado Buffaloes for the first time ever. The Cats coming off their best non-conference run in program history at a record of 5-1-1. But Colorado is the top scoring team in the Big 12. Their match starts at 8 o'clock and televised on ESPN+. Meanwhile, the Kansas Jayhawks in the top 25 at number 19 will be on the road visiting Oklahoma State. That's at 7 o'clock and televised on ESPN+. The Kansas City Royals with a much-needed win last night as they take down the Seattle Mariners. With a recap, here's Steve Stewart from the Royals Radio Network.
The Royals jumped ahead of Seattle 3-0 in the first on a Salvador Perez 3-run homer, his 29th on the year. Later, the Mariners took a 4-3 lead in the top of the eighth, but KC put up 4 in the bottom of the eighth to go ahead 7-4, and the Royals held on for a 7-5 victory. KC back to 500 at 76-76. Adam Frazier's 2-run homer in the 4-run eighth put the Royals back in front 5-4. Carter Jensen and Bobby Witt Jr. each had an RBI double. Finale of the series today. We're on beginning at 12:30 on the Royals Baseball Network.
And first pitch is at 1:10. Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes celebrated his 30th birthday yesterday by welcoming Xavier Worthy and Jalen Royals back to practice. The two wide receivers had hardly played after Worthy hurt his shoulder in a collision with Travis Kelce early in their season opener, and Royals was left dealing with a knee injury from training camp. But after Worthy practiced a bit late last week, Coach Andy Reid said Wednesday that neither would have any restrictions in preparing for Sunday night's game against the New York Giants. And football tonight. Thursday night football in the NFL, the Dolphins visiting the Bills. That'll be at 7:15 on Prime Video. And college football, Rice at Charlotte, 6:30 on ESPN. I'm Mitch Fortner with sports.